This is the Leitmotif and Movement Podcast, a father and son's journey into the vast worlds of music. I am your host, Mike Ficklin, and joining me on this epic musical journey is my son,
Michael Ficklin.
This show is dedicated to the discussion of music and introducing Michael to music from the past and present. We discuss music mainly from the genres of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. We also from time to time dive into film and video game scores, and we sprinkle in some surprises along the way. Michael, what have you been listening to this week?
I have been a pretty boring person. I haven't listened to much except for the new song, new single from A Perfect Circle.
Titled Starless, I believe is what the name of that song is.
Yes, I do believe that is correct.
And what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It reminded me of stuff off of their first record, Merde Nam.
Out of curiosity, I can't remember. Have you listened to any of their other stuff?
I have listened to the 13th Step.
Okay. So I felt like Starless struck a good balance between the sound from Merde Nam and from the 13th Step. In fact, I personally think it sounds more like stuff from the 13th Step.
It reminds me more of stuff off of Merde Nam more opinion, but I'll let you continue.
I think the riff is more Sabbathy than stuff off the 13th Step, but I also kind of feel like the songwriting and arrangement feels more like something off of the 13th Step. Regardless, it's a positive step. It's a step in the right direction after my disappointments with them on pretty much everything else after the 13th Step. Michael, do you want to hear more from them in this direction?
Yeah.
Do you hope for a new
course.
album? Yeah. What else you been listening to? Anything?
Other than assignment, nothing.
Well, you do a bi-weekly show about music and listen to no music. How does that work?
Okay, I planned to listen to some more music, but I ended up not getting around to it.
I'm disappointed.
Okay.
We'll get to my disappointment here in a moment. For me, I listened to several albums over the last couple of weeks. First one I checked out was the new EP from Primus titled A Handful of Nugs. This is the 6th EP from the American experimental rock band and the first release featuring new material since 2022's Conspiranoid EP. This 4-song EP was dropped as a complete surprise on May 15th. It features one new song, The Old Grizz, which feels like classic Primus. Les Claypool lays down a killer bluesy bass line. The song is very proggy and plays with that sort of jazz, country, funk fusion that the band is known for. The drum work is spectacular on this song as well. Drummer John Hoffman is able to navigate the odd time signatures and transitions flawlessly. If this is what songs from the coming new album are going to be like, call me excited. The EP also features a cover of Dio's Holy Diver featuring Puddle's Pity Party, Little Lord Fentanyl with Pussifer, and a live version of Duchess and the Proverbial Mind Spread. The Holy Diver cover is really well done and very faithful to the original. Little Lord Fentanyl was previously released on the 2024 Sasanta EPP. The EP is worth the listen for the Old Grizz alone, but the whole thing is a fun listen. I also checked out the new EP from This Is Hell titled Born Suspicious. This is the 6th EP from the American hardcore band and their first release since their 2016 album Bastards Still Remain. The 5 tracks on this record clock in at 11 minutes, so this thing goes by at breakneck speed. It's all killer, no filler. Musically, the band brings back its hardcore, melodic hardcore roots. The vocals are shouted and screamed in a sort of Brian Fair of Shadows Fall style. Opener Higher Than God goes fast and hard, but the chorus does insert a bit of melody. In fact, that's something I appreciate about this EP on the whole. The band comes with the anthemic choruses meant to get maximum crowd participation. As I listened to this EP, it made me think of Boy Sets Fires after the Eulogy record. Sonically and musically, they share the same early 2000s hardcore, post-hardcore DNA. This Is Hell brings the energy on this EP, and I'm here for it. I hope this means we're going to get a full album from them soon. I also checked out the new record from the Smashing Pumpkins titled Zodion at Crystal Hall. This is the 14th studio record from the American alternative rock band. It's the 3rd volume of the Shiny and Oh So Bright series. It's set between Seer and Atum. It was recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic. 10 of the songs from these recording sessions were originally released as bonus tracks on the Atum Madame Zuzu's exclusive vinyl box set. This final release of these songs features 9 of these tracks, plus 3 unreleased songs from the sessions. The tracks have been resequenced as well. Opener Scimitar has a very 60s psychedelic rock feel to it. In fact, it reminds me a bit of the Beatles track Here Comes the Sun. Magdalena feels like an upbeat pop rock song. Saffron takes us back to more of a 60s rock sound. It sounds like it would fit the Sgt. Pepper's Beatles era perfectly. Huzzah is a quirky song that features an acoustic guitar and some bright synth keyboard work. Automaton has a very bright atmosphere featuring some extra strings, a bit of what sounds like flute work, and some gorgeous synth, maybe mellotron textures. Burr makes me think of the music you would hear during an upbeat, emotional moment in a film. The extra strings give this song that extra bit of warmth. Excelsior has this bright, upbeat, happy feeling to it. It has a very simple, bouncy rhythm to it. Necromance has a sort of 60s Munsters Addams Family vibe to it. Apocalypso features an organ and just an overall Doors-like sound musically. Mary Q opens up with what kind of sounds like a funeral procession song. As it gets into the song proper, it sounds like maybe there's a mellotron in use and there's some very 60s sounding keyboard work. Story for Another Day feels like it would be right at home at the end of a film soundtrack as the characters reflect on the events of the film. Closer, The Bard, has a bit of a bittersweet, melancholic feel to it. Corgan's vocals throughout are delivered in his well-known nasally falsetto. I could see it turning people off if they're not fans of his vocal style. The whole album just feels like a love letter to the psychedelic rock of the 60s. It's a nostalgia trip that's a lot of fun to take. I appreciate Corgan's artistic vision and the willingness to experiment with different sounds. I also checked out the new record from Dance Gavin Dance titled Tree City Sessions 3. This is the American experimental post-hardcore band's 4th live album and the 3rd in the Tree City Sessions series. It's the first live album to feature Andrew Wells on lead clean vocals. The songs featured on the album are reworked and re-recorded songs from the band's catalog. The production on this live in the studio record is pristine. I very much enjoyed the mix on the guitars, as you could hear all the little intricacies and interplay between guitarists. Drummer Matt Mingus is stellar all throughout. His ability to navigate the complex timing and rhythm structures is a real standout. John Mess on the screaming vocals brings the hardcore energy. Andrew Wells left something to be desired for me. I enjoy Wells as a vocalist, especially his stuff with Idola. However, I found his vocals on this recording to be a bit thin. I'm not sure if that's a result of the way the album was mixed, or if maybe Wells was battling illness or something. It just doesn't stand out as a strong performance for me. On the whole, the band feels tight, and their musicianship is on point. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I also checked out the long-awaited 13th record from Devin Townsend under the Devin Townsend moniker, titled The Moth. And I believe this record is actually his 30th overall. 3-0. That's a ton of output. This is the record that I'm disappointed, Michael, that you didn't check out, man.
I plan to. I just couldn't get around to it.
This thing, it was 10 years in the making. It's a huge, sweeping, dense, and gorgeous album. Yeah, 10 years.
Wow.
Long gestating. It's like a rock opera, but the rock instruments aren't at the forefront. Amazing North Netherlands Symphony Orchestra are the stars of this show. The orchestral arrangements and the choir give this whole project a cinematic feel. At times, the music feels warm, triumphant, and transcendent, such as on the track Metamorphosis. Other times, it seems more magical and whimsical, such as on The Mothers. Orion feels like an adventure theme, like what you might hear in a fantasy film like Lord of the Rings. Then there's the dark, sinister, foreboding sounds that can be found in a track like Prepare for War. I'm still trying to digest it all, but I can say without a doubt that this is one of the most unique entries in Devin's discography. It's definitely something that you need to grab your best headphones for and listen to from start to finish. I catch something new every time I listen through. The dynamics are stunning. The record also features the talents of Anneke van Giersbergen, Lin Wu, James Leach, Darby Todd, Mike Kennelly, and Aman Kozla. The second disc to the album, titled The Moth, The Afterlife, might be even better than the first disc. It features just the orchestral and choir work. You get a real feel for how gorgeous the orchestral arrangements are and just how much the choir adds to the sound textures. The Moth is simply breathtaking and sensational. This gets a huge Pick of the Week nomination from me. I also checked out the new record from I Built the Sky, titled Promise Me You'll Thrive. This is the 5th studio record from the Australian instrumental progressive metal band. Virtuoso guitarist and composer Rohan Stevenson has delivered perhaps his best effort yet. Stevenson takes you on a cinematic musical journey that includes jazzy sections, shredding metal sections, and proggy sections. His guitar playing is infused with classical themes. He sounds so smooth, and his fret work evokes thoughts of Steve Vai and maybe even a bit of Yngwie Malmsteen. There's some gorgeous atmospheric textures provided via keyboards, synths, extra strings, and even a sax. The production on the album is vibrant and slick. I really love the drum sound on this record. Drummer David Parks is exceptional. Some of that credit also goes to Forrester Savel's drum production. Some favorite tracks for me include The Start of Something Beautiful, Cloudkind, Promise Me You'll Thrive, Return from the Ether, Lightning by the Bottle, and the emotional climax, Don't Cry Because It's Over, Smile Because It Happened. If you love Pliny and you haven't heard I Built the Sky, you really need to check out this album. You're gonna love it. It gets yet another Pick of the Week nomination from me. I also checked out the new record from Elder, titled Through Zero. This is the 7th studio record from the American, now based in Germany, progressive rock band. The band continues to evolve and perfect their mixture of psychedelic sludge-infused prog rock on this release. There's plenty of otherworldly musicianship to be found. Jack Donovan's bass work is outstanding and really helps to drive the songs forward. George Edert brings the complex rhythms and timing on drums. His fills are outstanding all throughout. The keyboards from Mike Reisberg have a very 70s sci-fi aesthetic. Nick DeSalvo's guitar work has a trippy, psychedelic feel to it. His vocals are also on point. It reminds me a bit of Tool, A Perfect Circle, Pussifer frontman Maynard James Keenan. Title track Through Zero is one of my favorites on the record, and I think it feels a bit like a Tool song. Strata feels like Black Sabbath meets Rush. DeSalvo's vocals feel like they take on more of an Ian Kinney of Carnival tone. Sight Unseen is a nearly 9-minute instrumental epic. Elder just keeps getting better with each new release. They're becoming masters of their craft. This might be their finest effort yet. This also gets a Pick of the Week nomination. I also checked out the new record from Shinedown titled 8. The American hard rockers are back with their 8th studio album, as you may have surmised from the name of the album. I absolutely adored their first album, Leave a Whisper. It resonated with me big time. Since then, I've had a bit of a hit or miss relationship with the band. I appreciate their willingness to experiment and not stick to the same formula over and over again. However, some of their stuff is just a bit too poppy for me, or it just doesn't stick with me as much as the stuff from that first album. That said, I did approach 8 with an open mind. Opener The Bottom is a cabaret-infused hard rocker. It's an interesting way to open the record and certainly grabs your attention. Dance Kid Dance sounds like Sound of Madness era Shinedown. It's a solid hard rocker. I didn't really care for Burning Down the Disco. It feels just a bit too modern and poppy. 365 is an acoustic-driven ballad. The main guitar riff reminds me a lot of John Waite's Missing You. It's a decent song with a good message, but it feels like Shinedown has done this before with songs like Second Chance. Young Again feels like a big stadium anthem straight out of the catalog of a band like The Killers. Dizzy, from a musical standpoint, feels like it's got a 60s Beatles-ish vibe to it and maybe a bit of vintage rhythm and blues. Imposter is a dark song that feels in a similar vein to 45. Machine Gun is an up-tempo hard rocker. It is one of my favorite songs on the record. Outlaw has a little bit of a country-infused rock sound to it. It's a pretty hooky song. I could see this one being a crossover hit. Safe and Sound brings more of a heavy edge, again making me think of songs like The Sound of Madness. Searchlight might as well just be a country song. It's an acoustic country ballad complete with banjo. It did nothing for me. Bear With Me is a sort of weird pop rock anthem with Brent Smith half rapping the lyrics and the verses. It just doesn't work for me. Deep End feels like an 80s goth rock song. Killing Fields and Back to the Living are big anthemic power ballads with hooky choruses. So Glad That You Asked sounds like a modern Imagine Dragons-esque pop rock anthem. Closer, The Pilot is a poignant and inspirational acoustic ballad that features some extra strings for additional warmth. On the whole, I do enjoy this record quite a bit. There's a few misses and some stuff that feels formulaic, but I do appreciate the band continuing to experiment and spread its wings. It's a good album, even if it doesn't touch the heights of their debut. And the last thing I checked out was from the Smashing Pumpkins. It's their massive 80-song box set titled Machina Aranea Alba Editio. This box set puts together the two Machina albums from 2000, Machina and the Machines of God, and Machina 2, The Friends and Enemies of Modern Music. The album's 48 tracks have been resequenced and partially re-recorded to fit Billy Corgan's original creative vision. There's also 32 additional tracks featuring demos, rehearsal recordings, bonus tracks, and even a live recording. This thing is huge. And I appreciate that Billy Corgan was trying to put together this big cinematic rock opera, if you will. They released the first Machina record, and then they got into a dispute with their record label, and they ended up putting out the second Machina record on vinyl and sent it to some very strategic places to have them rip the music and put it out for download, free download. So my version of Machina 2 is kind of bad quality because, of course, it came downloaded from the internet. So it's nice to have an official release of this. I will say that at times it does feel a little bloated, to say the least. There's some good stuff on here. There's also some stuff that probably could have been left on the cutting room floor. On the whole, it was awesome getting to hear Billy's vision in its entirety. It's just a little much sometimes. It's a good listen, though. I would recommend checking it out, if nothing else, just for the nostalgia of revisiting the Machina albums, because there are some really good tunes on here. And that's all from me over the last couple of weeks, Michael. Did you happen to think of anything while I was going on and on and on?
No, other than that you were yapping.
All right. So now we'll get into the art of discovery. This is our segment where we take a listen to a few bands that are either unsigned or just not getting the love that we feel they deserve. We've got a great selection of songs for you this time around. We're going to kick things off with a metalcore band out of Frankfurt, Germany. This is Asura Falls with their song Eyes Wide Open. And once again, that was Asura Falls with their song Eyes Wide Open. You can purchase their music from the iTunes store. Michael, what'd you think about that one?
It was amazing. Nice and heavy and all that.
Just goes hard as hell, man. Loved it. All right. Our next song comes from a progressive gent metal band out of Berlin, Germany, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce this correctly. I believe it is pronounced Förderstatus Lärmen. And this is their song, The Overload. And once again, that was Förderstatus Lärmen with their song The Overload. You can purchase their music from their Bandcamp page, Förderstatus Lärmen.bandcamp.com. Michael, what'd you think about that one?
That was amazing.
Yeah, outstanding song. Great vocals, outstanding guitar work. Just outstanding. All right. Our final song comes from an atmospheric black metal band out of Canada. This is Unreqvited with their song Void Essence, Frozen Tears. And once again, that was Unreqvited with their song Void Essence, Frozen Tears. That comes from their album, A Pathway to the Moon. You can purchase their music from their Bandcamp page, unrequited.bandcamp.com. Michael, what'd you think about that epic?
That was epic journey.
Very cool song. Lots of cool atmospherics. Love the synth work. Just awesome stuff. It adds so much texture to the music. Great stuff.
Yeah, that was cinematic.
For sure. All right. Michael, you got anything else?
I do not, other than thank you.
Absolutely. We want to thank all three of the bands that we featured on today's Art of Discovery segment. If you would like to be featured on this segment, feel free to reach out to us either via email at lightmovepod@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on one of our various social media accounts. If we like what we hear, we would love to play your music on the show. All right, Michael, now it's time to get into our main topic. This time, we're breaking down Periphery's brand new release, A Pale White Dot. So I did a little bit of research trying to see if I could figure out some background information about this album, and I stumbled across a Reddit post from someone that had attended one of Periphery's listening parties, and they provided a pretty decent bit of notes on what was said during that listening party. So, to start out, this album's incredibly meaningful to the band. The concept for the album came in Munich, Germany, sometime within the last 2 years. The band severely lacked inspiration to write P6, with Misha stating when they sat down to talk about it, they started to understand they already knew what the album would essentially sound like, which is still great, but felt archetypal to them. Sitting down, getting coffee in Munich, Misha and Matt came to a breakthrough for an album idea that they had been looking for, and it came by way of almost de facto therapy sessions. The two had deep conversations about loneliness, how it affected them, and how they could see it through the eyes of other people. The idea of loneliness became the core concept of the album, A Pale White Dot. Obviously, missing the two dots, the pale white dot stands alone in isolation, similar to the famous 1990 photograph of Earth, the pale blue dot, taken by NASA Voyager 1 from 3.7 billion miles away. The picture, which shows Earth as a tiny pixel of blue, was, as Carl Sagan famously noted, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, lived out their lives on that little pale blue dot, emphasizing the loneliness, isolation, and fragility of the Earth. Misha stated this was a direct influence on the album concept and artwork. Every single song on A Pale White Dot is about loneliness, showcasing it from different perspectives. The album was written far differently from other Periphery albums. Traditionally, the guys have gotten together, wrote some sick riffs, tracked drums, vocals, organized an album, and then slapped some artwork and song names on top of it. This was written completely opposite. The guys focused on this central theme of loneliness and songs that encapsulated both the lyrical content of it as well as the sonic vibe of how they perceived it. It's a concept album about loneliness, with none of the songs tying in with each other. Lyrics and themes for songs were written even before Misha touched a guitar, emphasizing the importance of the central theme of loneliness in the album. The band found immersive creativity in putting themselves in this, quote, box of loneliness. To get the uniquely thick, sludgy, and suffocating weight on tracks like Talk and Mr. God, the band revealed they recorded parts of this album using 6-string baritone guitars tuned to F standard. a major seventh below standard tuning, dropping the lowest string all the way down to like a subterranean B flat 0. This is why the low end feels so thunderous. The album marks a massive milestone for their label as well, 3 Dot Recordings. For the first time in their self-titled lineage since 2015, they deliberately stripped away the Periphery number title and even left their iconic 3 Dot logo off the cover art to visually signify a completely new, trimmer, and raw era for the band. And I do want to thank user dangerous_recipe5823 for providing the bit of background information that he got from the listening party. So thank you very much for that. All right, Michael, with that little bit of background out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into our track-by-track analysis. We'll kick things off with track number 1. This is Obsession. Michael, what you got on this?
The, opening, it's, got that, it's more, atmospheric, and then that drop right at the minute mark into straight heavy.
Yes.
And we keep on going back to that more atmospheric decent way through. And Spencer's vocals on the song are pretty good. Can you agree?
Yeah. He comes in with the clean vocals, but he also gets into these really deep growls. It's interesting stuff for sure.
I love the in between that happens. I love there's a slight pause for a second and then it just drops straight in. You know?
Yeah, are you talking about between the opening atmospherics before we get into the regular track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in between from us going back and forth.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because it pauses for a second and then you get attacked.
Those are fun moments.
Yes.
Fun headbanging moments.
It keeps your attention.
For sure.
And grips you. Let's hear what you got.
I'm curious first, what's Spotify say about this?
Of course the album's only been out. So what is
for just a few weeks, yeah.
It's only been out for about 2 weeks now of recording the podcast.
Yep.
This is at 447,000 plays.
I'm interested to see how this lines up with the rest of the album. I don't know if that's good or bad.
The lowest it gets is 273,000.
Okay, so this is pretty good then. Okay.
And then the highest it gets is 1.378.
Okay. Okay. So it's about middle of the pack. Okay. Yeah, like you mentioned, we open up with some electronic atmospherics. Spencer comes in with his clean vocals. The beginning of this track feels really emotional and haunting. Then this gives way to a very death metal-like section, complete with Sotelo giving his deepest growls. And come to think of it, the guitar tone and riffs in these chorus sections are very Opeth-like.
Yeah, I did get that feel too. I was curious if you'd make reference to it or not.
Oh,
That's
yeah, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Drummer Matt Halpern has the double kicks going, and it's just blasting away. Around the 2-minute 33-second mark, we get into a more melodic metalcore section. The track closes out with a very genty, Meshuggah-like chugging section. It's not my favorite Periphery opener ever, but it's still a fun listen. Matt Halpern has stated that this song is about OCD and anxiety, and how he has personally struggled with how lonely and isolating that can feel. When no one understands that the issues in your head are real, even if it's just making sure the lights are turned off, people don't realize how real and scary it can be to the person affected, And that is a very lonely thought. And I guess before we go any further, Michael, we probably should mention the personnel on this record.
Yeah.
I got ahead of myself. So, Periphery, of course, is comprised by the three guitarist extraordinaires of Misha Mansour, Mark Holcomb, and Jake Bowen. We also have Matt Halpern on the drums, and of course, Spencer Sotelo on vocals. All right, Michael, anything else to say on Obsession?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll move on to track number 2. This is Talk. Michael, what you got on this?
That opening riff to open up the song. Awesome.
Yeah,
just
dude.
Awesome.
Just go straight for the jugular.
Yeah. And the drum work is thunderous. It's an all-out attack.
For my money, Matt Halpern is one of the best drummers in heavy metal right now. No doubt.
Yeah, I could see an argument for that. I just all-out heavy song. And this is at almost 5,000 plays. Like
500,000?
500,000. Yeah.
500,000. Okay.
Not 5,000, not 5,000.
I was going to say, man, that's really low. This one goes hard from the outset. Mansour, Holcomb, and Bowen bring this nasty, chugging riff. Matt Halpern's drums sound absolutely thunderous. Sotelo comes out going for the jugular with his vicious, screaming vocals. There's an interesting, brief electronic break before getting back into the heavy. The chorus opens things up. The guitar riff isn't as suffocating. Sotelo is able to deliver a soaring, clean vocal performance. Around the 2-minute, 13-second mark, we get a tasty guitar solo. Coming out of this solo, we go back into the electronic section with Sotelo providing some clean vocals over it. This leads back into the chorus, and coming out of the chorus, we transition into a really heavy section with these really heavy declamatory riffs. Around the 3-minute, 24-second mark, we again transition into a quiet, electronic atmospheric section. A very jazzy piece of guitar work joins in. The final chorus delivery feels huge. The electronic atmospherics join in and really just take this song to the next level. This song is specifically about people offering words of support and condolences, pleasantries, etc., but at the end of the day, when the pleasantries are done, it's easy for them to walk away while you're left isolated with your problems and how lonely that can be. Michael, do you have anything else on Talk?
No.
No? That's all you got?
No.
All right.
I love the melodic vocals on this song. Like, during the chorus. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that last time through the chorus, it feels so big. It just, yeah, it's amazing.
I am ready whenever.
Okay, so now we'll move on to track number 3. This is Mr. God, and this was the first single released from the record. Michael, what you got on this?
So, I'm going to start out and say this is the number 1 song on the record. Of course, it was the first single to get released.
I could see it. I know there's a large swath of Periphery fans that love when the band just goes hard.
But I enjoy it. It's definitely heavy, but I think it's a good heavy. It's just 3 minutes of all-out attacking.
You know, I think you and I talked about the song when it first came out, and neither one of us were very impressed. but I had mentioned to you that I had wanted to hear this song in context with the rest of the album. I'm curious, now that you've heard the rest of the album and how this fits in with it, does it
works
resonate
well
more with you?
It works well with the first 3 songs.
Yeah. I think so. So this one's got the most listens on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This song opens up with a sludgy, crushing guitar riff. There's some pretty dark, unsettling ambiance from the synth work in the background. Sotelo brings the growling, screaming vocals. Around the 1 minute 33 second mark, the song takes a transition to a brief reprieve before breaking back into the heavy. Halpern's drums again sound thunderous. This song is just relentlessly heavy and dark. It's very much in the vein of P4's Blood Eagle. It's meant to get you in the pit. This was the first single released from the record, and when I first heard it, I really wasn't sure about it. I wasn't all that high on it, but I did want to wait to pass final judgment until I had heard it in context with the rest of the record. Having now heard it with the rest of the record, I've taken a liking to it. It's just crushingly heavy. This song steps away from personal experiences and turns towards a supernatural picture. The song is roughly about a man with such immense power that he burns everything down around him. The lonely irony shows as he struggles to find meaning in a life he scorched the earth in. Michael, did you get the Blood Eagle vibe out of this song?
Yeah, I do get a Blood Eagle vibe.
Could you imagine what the pit would look like in a live setting when the song hits?
It'd be insane.
Yeah, dude. Might be tempted to
and
throw
we
you
saw
in
the
it.
one for Blood Eagle.
It just rips.
Yeah. And the riff, it just rips too.
That's what I mean, yeah. It just rips. All right, Michael, anything else on Mr. God?
I do not have anything else on Mr. God.
All right. So we'll move on to track number 4. This is Heaven on High. Michael, what you got on this?
My personal favorite song on the record.
Yeah, it's such a good song. It's a really good song.
That opening riff. I think I know every single lyric to the song.
Didn't take long to figure that out, did it?
Nope.
If I recall, this is the 3rd single released from the record. Is that right?
No.
Pretty sure it is.
Let me see. No, there was no 3rd single.
I'm pretty sure there is. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm
fairly certain they released a music video for this.
I'm looking.
They released the music video for it on right around the album release date. I could be wrong.
Oh, no, they didn't release.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Video.
That's what I thought.
I just love the lyrics to this song.
Very catchy.
Yes.
Very Wax Wings-ish.
Yeah. It gives me a vibe of Wax Wings and like the way the news goes.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of gorgeous guitar work.
Mm-hmm. And catchy lyrics.
Yeah, for sure. What's Spotify say? How many listens?
732,000.
I bet that's second place.
Nope.
No?
3rd.
Okay. That works.
You gotta remember, there's still one more single.
I know. What else you got on this, man?
There's not enough for me to say about it. It's just good. I don't think I could do it justice.
Hard to describe.
And then that riff midway through. The solo.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That solo is so beautiful. Jake just kills it.
Yeah. Amazing song.
100%.
This was definitely on repeat for a minute.
Nothing wrong with that. And it's interesting. it slots in kind of nice here because like the first three songs are really dark and this
Yeah.
one feels a little more bright. We open up with some bright synth ambiance, and soon this is joined in with a gorgeous guitar riff from Jake. As we get into the first verse, the music is carried by some synth work and the sounds of Matt Halpern's drums. Sotelo experiments with clean singing in a lower register. I think it works really well. As we get into the chorus, Sotelo opens up his cleans and uses his regular vocal range. The chorus feels anthemic and huge. As we go into the second verse, the synth atmospherics return along with some minimalistic, bright guitar work. As we come out of the chorus again around the 2-minute 22-second mark, we get into a gorgeous guitar solo from Jake. As we come out of the bridge, the song takes a heavier tone with some very heavy guitar work and Sotelo introducing his screams into the song. At the 3-minute 33-second mark, the song goes into a heavy as hell hardcore breakdown. Around the 3-minute 48-second mark, we are back into the chorus, and this time, Jake is playing the opening guitar riff over the chorus riff. It feels absolutely epic, and it carries us out to the end of the song. What's that?
I said we got all the timestamps.
100. This is one of my favorite songs on the record. Just gorgeous. Jake has explained that this track is deeply personal, stemming from his internal battles with loneliness, isolation, and severe depression during the intense Juggernaut album cycle back in 2015. The lyrics depict the crushing reality that you can be surrounded by a room full of people who love you, or playing to massive cheering crowds on a stage on high, and still feel entirely hollow and completely alone inside. It's about the heavy burden of keeping up appearances when your mental health is fracturing behind the scenes, and how terrifyingly hard it can be to talk about it openly. Just an outstanding song. Michael, anything else with Heaven on High?
I do not have anything else.
All right. So we'll move along to track number 5. This is Unlocking. Michael, what you got on this one?
I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this song. It didn't really grow on me. I mean, there's some good moments with the riff and stuff, like towards the beginning, but it never really hit.
Yep, I think I'm in that same boat with you.
This has 446,000 plays, if you were curious.
So, kind of middle of the road again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I mean, this one opens up with a bit of a synth pop feel. When the song kicks in full, we get more of a ballady, melodic metal riff. Halpern's drums sound massive on this song because there's so much space for him to work in. Sotelo again is singing in a bit of a lower register. I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of the way that he delivers the chorus. There's something off about it. It sort of reminds me of the way that some modern pop is done. It's just sort of flat. At the 1-minute 37-second mark, we transition into a heavier section with some excellent guitar arpeggio work. We come out of the arpeggio and into a really heavy section complete with screaming vocals. This gives way back to the synth pop sound, but this time there's a low-end guitar rhythm line underneath. When we get into the chorus again at the 2-minute 51-second mark, it's rocked up. Sotelo is using his full vocal power. The guitars carry the music with the synths providing more atmosphere. We get back into some gorgeous guitar work starting at the 3-minute 54-second mark that takes us nearly to the end. The song closes out its final seconds with some atmospheric guitar work. This is a very personal song for Spencer. It deals with questioning the beliefs which hold us back or put us in a certain box in life. And it's okay. It just hasn't grown on me at all. Maybe I need a few thousand more listens.
A few thousand?
Maybe.
Jeez. I still have Heaven on High stuck in my head.
Michael, do you have anything else on unlocking?
I do not.
All right, so we'll move right along to track number 6. This is the absolutely heavy and devastating Subhuman. What you got on this,
Yeah.
Michael?
I think you basically said it all in one statement.
This thing
It's
goes
just
so
great.
hard.
Yeah. Heavy. If you like heavy Periphery, you know what song to go to.
100%. Skip right to track 6.
This has 472,000 plays.
Again, middle of the road.
So, yeah. Middle road again. I like this song. It can be a little heavy for my liking. I'm not like I like a little bit of screaming vocals. I just am not the biggest fan of full screaming songs.
Yeah, I know you like the melodic stuff worked in there. And this one definitely doesn't have that.
Yeah. I think it's the furthest thing from melodic.
100%. This might be the heaviest sounding song on the record. Maybe even the heaviest song in all of Periphery's catalog.
Nope. I disagree with that statement.
Oh, yeah?
I still think either Blood Eagle or Church Burner is still heavier.
I mean, they're heavy, but they don't go death metal heavy like this. This Subhuman features a guest vocal spot from Lorna Shore's Will Ramos. This feels like Periphery's attempt to get close to a death metal song. Sotelo and Ramos deliver the vocals with blood-curdling screams. At the 1 minute 46 second mark, we transition into an absolutely sick deathcore breakdown. If the band plays this song live, this is sure to get the crowd in the pit. This song is absolutely, unrelentingly heavy. Ramos knocks it out of the park. His death growls add to the tension and unsettling atmosphere of the song. At just 2 minutes 52 seconds in length, this one leaves you with no time to catch your breath. This song is about someone that believes they're the only real person in the world, making everyone else subhuman. Or less than. Michael, do you have anything else on Subhuman?
Nope.
Okay. So now we'll move right along to track number 7. This is Blackwall. Michael, what you got on this?
So, it's kind of in the same boat as Unlocking.
Yep.
It kind of grew on me a little bit, but like I would say it's a tiny bit better than Unlocking, in my opinion, but not by much.
Yeah, I have slowly started to find an appreciation for it. It's still not my favorite song on the record, but I am starting to find a bit of an appreciation for it.
Yeah. But this song has 368,000 plays.
So that places it in like the lower tier on the record then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are currently going to be through the lower tier of the record.
Okay.
We only have like one more insane peak, and then it's just low.
Yep. I know where that insane peak is coming from too.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I like the more electronic sounds. It's okay. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan. Now, like on the previous records, I've enjoyed like when they did these, The two that they've done on this record are not my cup of tea.
Little
Is the best way
poppy.
to put it. Yeah.
So we go from the heaviest song on the record into a much calmer, more laid-back piece. This is a synthwave track. There's usually one of these on every Periphery record, it feels like, and it always takes time for them to grow on me.
Yeah.
Spencer delivers the vocals in his clean style. Around the 1 minute, 10-second mark, the song takes a shift, and I think it starts to sound a bit like something from modern Nine Inch Nails. There's a lot of textures and atmosphere. Slowly, the song starts to build, but never gets to a full crescendo. Around the 2 minute, 51-second mark, we return to the chorus, except musically, it feels much more cinematic and full. It's not my favorite song on the record by far, but again, I have started to find an appreciation for it. The band claimed they did not plan on writing an electronic song for this album, yet here we are. Lyrically, it's about an AI who yearns to feel human, feel emotion, etc., and how lonely and isolating it would be not truly being sentient, but aware enough to be alone. Michael, do you have anything else on Blackwall?
I do not.
Okay. So we'll move right along to track number 8. This is Malevolent. Michael, what you got on this?
We're back to the heavy.
100%. This one goes hard too.
Yes. And I like the mix of melodic and screaming that Spencer does on this song.
Yes,
But,
sir.
oh my. Heavy song. Especially at the beginning.
Lots of riffs on this song, man.
Yeah. Amazing ones too at that.
100%.
Same with the drum work. I feel like the drum work we haven't given much credit. The drum
Maybe
work on
not
this whole
you.
entire album
I
is
keep
amazing.
giving Halpern credit quite a bit. What's Spotify say about this out of curiosity?
366.
Oh, no. No. No, this deserves more to be in that upper echelon.
And we're just going to get lower and lower.
I mean, I get it. Where you can clearly see that those that are not album listeners, right? We're trailing off as we get later in the album. I don't like it. This is a really good song.
It seems like everybody was turned by Blackwall.
That's a bummer. Skip Blackwall. Go to Malevolent.
Yeah, that's what I did on a lot of my listens. Same with Unlocking. I went straight to Subhuman.
Yeah, I mean, I never skipped any tracks on my listen throughs. I just knew the ones that I didn't care for, so
Zoned out.
pretty much. So, Malevolent opens up with a bit of an industrial electronic intro before breaking into the song proper. Has a dark, unsettling feel to it, especially once we get into the verses. The guitars become more atmospheric in these sections, lending a haunting feeling. Spencer brings a combination of his screams and growls and his cleans. Around the 1 minute 57-second mark, the song takes a shift into a more quiet section. There's some atmospheric synth work and even the sounds of a solo violin. Then we return to the heavy. The closing 19 seconds just go hard as hell. It's a very heavy breakdown that carries us out. Halpern's drums sound large and thunderous all throughout the song, but they loom especially huge here at the end in combination with the very heavy percussive riff being played. This song is Mark's baby. He stated before the song started he likes to wake up and make a ton of coffee and play guitar like it's a 9-to-5 job with only a small lunch break and just right riffs. This song is one of those. Lyrically, it's about an old Victorian-style house that is completely abandoned. The song details the hundreds of years of horror and trauma the house has experienced and the loss of human life, leaving it feeling completely isolated and lonely in the world. After the house is abandoned, the floorboards open up and a chasm forms, spilling hatred and vileness, monsters, etc. into the house. Mark said it was also inspired by horror movies. I could see it. Michael, do you have anything else on Malevolent?
I do not.
Okay. So now we'll move on to track number 9. This is Carry On. Michael, what you got on this?
I actually like this song compared to some people.
Oh, yeah?
Spotify listeners, 348,000.
Whatever.
I like the melodic sections, and then heading into those heavy sections. I really like this song. It flows together very well. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do like the song, and it deserves better than what Spotify listeners have given it for sure.
Oh, I think I know I will disagree with the next song with the amount of plays.
I'm sure I will too. What else you got?
I really like the ending too. For once we get into the melodic section for the last time, but it's got the heavy the melodic vocals, but it's more heavy, you know?
Yeah, heavy musically.
Yeah. The song's very good. And I dislike the Spotify listeners.
Listen to the whole album, fools.
Old man yells at
Pretty much. Yeah, we open with a very melancholic feeling synth section. Sotellio's vocal delivery is drenched with emotion. There's a lot of space with the synth ambiance, and they have some reverb working on Sotellio's vocals. It gives off the feeling of isolation and loneliness. Around 45 seconds in, Halpern's drums kick in, and there's some atmospheric guitar work along with it. At the 1 minute mark, Sotellio brings his screams, and the song takes a shift into much heavier territory. There's some very heavy, crushing guitar riffs, and Halpern is attacking the drum kit. Then, just as quickly as it came, it's gone, and we're back to the quieter synth atmosphere. At 1 minute 57 seconds, we transition back into the heavy, crushing riffs and Sotellio's visceral screams. At the 2 minute 30-second mark, we revisit the lyrics from the first verse, but they're presented over a powerful, bluesy power ballad guitar riff. Sotellio crushes the vocals, hitting some high accent notes in this section as we get carried out. Spencer has stated that this song is about feeling isolated during the pandemic while also going through a divorce. Heavy amounts of melancholy there. Michael, do you have anything else on Carry On?
No.
Okay. So now we'll move on to track number 10. This is Neon Valley. Michael, what you got on this?
Probably my third favorite song on the record.
Interesting.
I really like this song.
Do tell.
I like the opening riff. You can't lie. That opening riff is amazing.
Very cool stuff, for sure.
There's just... I really like that riff. And I like Spencer's vocals throughout the song. And I like the lyrical content.
What did Spotify say about this again?
331,000.
No, see. No. Just no. This deserves more, for sure. No.
Yes.
I know it's only been out a couple weeks, but come on, folks. Really? I love the way this song opens up. It feels very jazzy and even adds some orchestral strings before breaking into a hard driving rock riff. When we get into the first verse, the music becomes more quiet and atmospheric. Spencer's vocals are clean and it sounds like he's got some heavy vocal processing or effects at the start. As the song starts to build to the chorus, Spencer puts a lot of extra emotion into his vocals. I love Sotelo vocals in the chorus as well. There's something very hooky about his vocal melody.
It's got that Periphery hook.
100%. Around the 2-minute 56-second mark, we transition into a section with some machine gun drums from Halpern and some haunting guitar work that kind of gives the feeling of being pulled under and drowning. Around the 3-minute 12-second mark, we transition into a brief, quiet electronic piece. This gives way to a big anthemic sounding section before heading into the chorus for a final time. This is another of my favorite songs on the record as well. This is about a depressed man from the Pacific Northwest who drives south to LA and accidentally joins a ritualistic death cult. I think Misha related it to loneliness somehow, maybe the desperation of this guy or something like that. Michael, do you have anything else on Neon Valley?
Amazing song.
Great tune. All right. Now we'll move along to track number 11. This is Everyone Dies Alone. Michael, what you got on this?
Does everybody die alone?
We might.
Almost 1 million plays on this song.
This is the second place song, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and this was also the second single released.
I just love this song. I don't think I could have enough to say about it to like properly give it its true like I don't know.
Trying to give it its flowers.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's another one of those songs that's got that perfect Periphery hook, and it's got all the like things you see from Periphery's like very hooky songs.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
And the main chorus to the song, amazing.
Yeah, I will say
amazing.
I will say this song caught on with me immediately as opposed to Mr. God. Mr. God took some time to jive with me, but this one caught on with me immediately. You got anything else?
I don't think I could say enough about this song. It's just amazing.
Yeah, musically, the intro piece reminds me of something we might hear from Killswitch Engage. As we get into the first verse, we get some electronic ambiance and Sotelo with some clean vocals. He again has some effects on his vocals, making it seem like there's some pop echo to them. As we transition into the sub-chorus, we get a very melodic guitar riff and Sotelo goes into his screams. The chorus feels big, anthemic, and wide open. Coming out of the chorus, Sotelo returns to the screams over some gorgeous and complex guitar riffs. Around the 2-minute 25-second mark, we go into a bit of a heavy, djenty bridge with some gorgeous guitar work over the top. This gives way to a hauntingly beautiful section that makes me think of beholding the wonders of space. Sotelo's vocals on this section are gorgeous. Around the 3-minute 28-second mark, we get into a short, emotional guitar solo. I love the closing moments to the song. There's some very Mark Ingalls of Dredge-sounding atmospheric guitar work. Sotelo's vocals are soaked in emotion. Outstanding song. The band has stated that the song title says it all about this song. It specifically deals with the absolute grief and trauma of losing a loved one to terminal illness. Michael, do you have anything else on Everyone Dies Alone?
Everyone dies alone.
Apparently so, at least according to Periphery.
Just an amazing song. This bounces in between for first, also with Heaven on High.
Yep, me too. It's definitely between those two songs for my favorite song on the record, for sure.
I think my solid third favorite is Neon Valley.
Agreed.
That's solid.
Agreed. All right, Michael, let's move on to the final track on this record. This is A Pale White Dot. What you got on this?
You know, with me not liking instrumentals a lot, I will actually make an argument for this song that I do like it. I actually really love this. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's really
Beautiful
gorgeous.
acoustic song. And this is at 273,000 plays, which makes sense. It's an instrumental. It happens with instrumentals,
I still don't like it.
but it's a beautiful piece.
Yes, it is. This is a gorgeous acoustic instrumental piece. It feels very emotional, like it's coming straight from the heart, especially in the opening minute. There's some very pretty ambiance in the background. This song makes me think of taking in a gorgeous sunset from the beach. It also makes me think of the emotional climax of a film. It's an unexpected way to close the album, but it's so welcome after the very heavy-hitting subject matter and music of the album. This song means different things to each band member. Mark described a story about saying horrible things to his mom and the guilt and weight of being alone at the end of the night, knowing he could never take that back. Misha told a story about beautiful scenery, like on top of a mountain or overlooking something beautiful, and accepting the loneliness and using it as a sort of weapon. He viewed the song and its ending as acceptance of loneliness, and that's why the last dot on the album cover is filled in. Michael, do you have anything else on A Pale White Dot?
Beautiful song.
Gorgeous.
I will say, out of all the instrumental songs that we've listened to on this show, I think this one takes the cake as my favorite.
That's awesome. I'm glad you finally found one that resonates with you.
It's just beautiful.
All right, Michael. Well, now it's time for our final thoughts and our overall album ratings. Let's go ahead and get your final thoughts and your rating out of 5.
An amazing album. I think it's probably up there in the Periphery albums. If I were to give like a quick placement, so there is, let's see, 9 records, not counting the EPs. I would say it goes above the Juggernaut albums and Periphery and P1. I don't think it's better than like P5, P4, or like the other albums. But I do like this a lot. I would say it would go in a daily rotation if I did have one. I'm gonna give it about like a 4.5. I don't think it hits the exact mark of 5 just because of those 2 songs.
Yep, holds it back just a little bit. For me, I appreciate that the band decided to lay their feelings to bear and use this record as a sort of therapy. They are very clearly wearing their hearts on their sleeves. I also appreciate the fact that the band sought to simplify their sound with this record. However, make no mistake, there's still plenty to chew on. The baritone guitars that Mansour, Bowen, and Holcomb play on this album give it an intense low end. There's still plenty of tasty guitar licks to be found all throughout. The synth work on the album provides some dynamics and depth that really helps to sell the heavy emotional messages of the songs. Halpern's drums sound huge on this record, especially in the quieter, more atmospheric spots. Sotelo is fantastic all throughout as well. He delivers the emotional screams and soaring cleans with control and power. I also enjoyed his experimentation with some lower register vocal work on a few songs. There are just a couple of songs that I'm not the biggest fan of in Unlocking and Blackwall, but there's still things in them that I have found an appreciation for. A Pale White Dot is a worthy entry in the pantheon of Periphery's hallowed discography, and it gets a 4.5 out of 5 from me as well.
So we had an agreement.
Yes, sir. And that's going to take us to our question for the audience. What is your favorite track on A Pale White Dot, and why? All right, now we're going to get into our next segment. This is Can't Wait, new music coming soon. Michael, what's on your list?
I do not have anything.
All right. Well, for me, over the next couple of weeks, on June 5th, Arion releases a new live record titled 30th Anniversary, An Amazing Journey Through Time. Evanescence drops their new record, Sanctuary. Evergrey drops their new record, Architects of a New Weave. I'm kind of surprised that one didn't make your list, Michael.
I had known about it, and I think I had already said something about it, so that's why I didn't say anything.
Fair enough. On June 12th, Fires in the Distance release their new record, Circadian Promise, and Artificial Silence releases their new record, Hollow Drift. Recently announced, coming out on September 25th, The Ocean Collective releases their new record, Solaris. Looking forward to that very much. Michael, anything else for this segment before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. So now we'll get into our final segment. This is Michael's journey discovering a song from the past. And this time around, we're going to talk about Joe Cocker's With a Little Help from My Friends. Joe Cocker's version came out in 1968, and it was placed on the album of the same name. It's a radical rearrangement of the original, which was done by the Beatles, and Cocker's version is inspired by his influences of Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles. Recorded by Denny Cordell and Tony Visconti and mixed by Tony Visconti, it used a slower tempo and different time signature than the original, and deployed different chords in the middle 8 while adding a lengthy instrumental introduction. The recording featured drums by Procol Harum's B.J. Wilson, guitar lines from Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page, and organ by Tommy Erie, as well as prominent backing vocals. After recording the song, Cocker and record producer Denny Cordell brought it to Paul McCartney, who later said of the recording, "It was just mind-blowing, totally turned the song into a soul anthem, and I was forever grateful for him for doing that." Cocker's version of the song reached number 1 on the UK singles chart on the week of November 6th through 12th, 1968. The version also peaked at number 68 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US on the week of December 14th. Number 2 on the Dutch Top 40 on the week of November 9th. And number 1 on Swiss Hit Parade's Top 100 Singles chart for the week of December 3rd. In Belgium's Ultra Top 50 Singles charts, it also peaked at number 1. Cocker performed the song at Woodstock in 1969, and the performance was included in the documentary film Woodstock. 2 weeks later, he performed it at the Isle of Wight Festival in 1969. This version gained even more fame in 1988 when it was used in the opening theme song for the television series The Wonder Years. In 2014, a BBC poll saw it voted the 7th best cover song ever. In 2001, Cocker's version of the song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Personnel featured on the song: Joe Cocker on lead vocals, Jimmy Page on guitar, Chris Stainton on bass, Tommy Erie on organ, B.J. Wilson on drums, and a plethora of backing vocalists, including Madeline Bell, Rosetta Hightower, and Patrice Holloway. Oh, I'm sorry, not Patrice Holloway, Sonny Wheatman, sorry. And Michael, with that little bit of background out of the way, let's get your thoughts on this song.
I enjoy the riff and big build up for the instruments, and I really like his vocals. It's very good. I've never actually heard the song or the original version, I don't think.
Never heard the Beatles' original version of it?
Nope. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'd give it a 4.5, but also it had very high praise.
Huge praise, and Michael gives it 4.5. I think this is actually the first time, Michael, that you have not given one of these songs a perfect score. I am 100% positive of it.
You're 100% positive?
100%.
I swear I have.
This is the first time it's never gotten not gotten a perfect score.
That's new.
For me, my love for this song originates from the classic TV show from my youth titled The Wonder Years. This song was the opening theme of the show, as I mentioned. For the opening of the song, we get a bit of a blues rock guitar riff contributed by Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page and some organ work from Tommy Erie. Cocker's gravelly, soulful vocal delivery is iconic and just pure perfection. The backing vocals from Madeline Bell, Rosetta Hightower, and Sonny Wheatman provide a church choir-like rhythm and blues offset to Cocker. B.J. Wilson's drums are terrific. I love the cymbal crashing during the chorus. It provides more energy and emphasis on the music. Cocker's version of the song has so much soul to it. His vocal performance is seared into my mind. I can't help but sing along whenever I hear this song. It's a welcome shot of nostalgia. Usually at this point, Michael, I'd ask you for your score, but you already gave it. So, up next for you on your journey, we're going to cover Ray Charles' Georgia on My Mind. And for our main topic on the next episode, it's our monumental 50th episode. Michael, can you believe we made it this far?
I cannot.
Well, for our monumental 50th episode, we're going to discuss Nirvana's 1991 release, Nevermind.
Nevermind.
Michael, are you excited?
I am semi-excited.
Semi-excited. All right, well, with that said, we want to hear from you. We will read your emails and messages on the show. We have only one request. Keep them clean. There are several ways to contact us. You can email us at lightmovepod@gmail.com. You can also reach us on several social media platforms such as Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. Details on how to connect with us are in the show notes. We are part of the SPDM Crew Podcast Network. Check out all of the podcasts on the network by visiting spdmcrew.com.
If you like the show, subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform and share with your friends and family. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a variety of other platforms. We're also on YouTube. Can't find us on your chosen platform? Shoot us a message and let us know. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This helps us be found in the algorithm. Make them good and we'll read them on the air. Are you in a band and you'd like for us to check you out and possibly drop a recommendation on the show? Shoot us a message. We'd love to check you out and give you a shout. We'd like to thank you very much for listening to the Leitmotif and Movement Podcast.
Take care and enjoy music.